Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Well, we got a lot of rain last night, and it's actually got a nice kind of a cool breeze coming in here, but it's made the whole place smell like it's nice and clean. So actually, it's not so bad. I don't mind the rain, having lived in Vancouver for multiple years, well over a decade. If you're not going to like the rain, you do not want to live in the Pacific Northwest of North America because that's all you get in the winter. In fact, in Vancouver, there sometimes it would start raining and wouldn't stop for like 2 weeks. It was like insane. Anyway, well, guys, I was reading a couple articles, and the first one, I'm telling you what, it defies description. So basically, remember back when the whole sea dump thing was going on? And they all wanted us to be covered up, like that. Well, apparently the NYPD is going out there and saying, hey, anybody that's going in, they want all the businesses to have people, take that thing off before they even walk into the store. And the reason for that is, of course, well, they don't get facial recognition when people are wearing that. And it just kind of defies description because remember how the left would actually have shown news articles literally shaming people and encouraging people to be publicly shamed, if they walked out in public and didn't, have something, covering their nose and mouth like that. Well, now they're telling you, hey, no. Before you go into a business, it should be a requirement to take it off. It's absolutely obscene and totally ridiculous, especially when you're talking about the NYPD and what was going on in New York City way back then and how they literally punished people for not doing it. Some people practically getting their heads kicked in if they didn't comply. So to me, the whole thing is just an absolute dog and pony show, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves really doing this because hey, it was the very NYPD that were kind of imposing these kind of restrictions, going out there and literally trying to make people look like idiots if they didn't comply. And now, now it's good. Let's all take them off now. What a load of hooey. I remember back where we were, you go through Costco there, and if you didn't have all the things done and you weren't, kind of looking like everybody else, they wouldn't even let you in. And for some people, I heard, they would even escort them around the store to make sure, hey, you didn't touch the socks over here. You just, kind of look. What's the difference of picking up a package of hamburger or a pair of socks, in that capacity? But that's what was going on. And so now you read an article like this where they're actually kind of going out there and telling businesses that they need to have rules in there and encouraging them to impose rules for people to actually take the whole thing off. Unbelievable in my view. Now, the second article, I think a lot of us are going to really want to be paying much attention to this. Now, this one really blew my mind. This is out of the Perth Mint. This is coming out of Australia. and what's going on is this. So Australia is having a recall of about $9 billion worth of gold that they sold to China. And why is that? Because, guys, they were doping it. They were basically cutting it with silver and copper and stuff like that and lowering the grade of the gold and then turning around and selling it to China. And, you expect this from, these backstreet dealers and things like this, but this is the Perth Mint, one of the most trusted mints in the world. And you have to ask yourself, well, if they're willing to do that to China, what about you and I? Because I know a lot of us go out there and actually have, positions in physical gold and silver. And here we're being told that the gold and silver that we might be buying may not be even as pure as what it's stamped. That is absolutely outrageous. And I'm telling you, if you can't trust a national mint to actually stamp their products with what they say they are. Like, for instance, Canadian maples are 99999% pure, right? Well, imagine if you found out that that wasn't the case, right? Would you be upset? Of course you'd be upset. And so this is a major, absolute scandal as far as I'm concerned. And look, it could cause some serious geopolitical problems for Australia, especially when you've got a neighbor the size of China that you're selling these billions of dollars worth of gold to, only to find out it's not even as pure as what you said. Man alive, I'm telling you. I mean, right there, you're even watching your own governments rip you right off in terms of like stuff like that with the mint. And so it's almost impossible now to trust absolutely any institution, to be honest. You know, where do you draw the line? Where does integrity come back into play where a person was as good as their word? Now, having said that, I want to say this. A lot of people were questioning, the article that I was reading about the ISO standard being moved up till June or whatever, because, on these coffee chats, guys, I don't normally post the articles because I think, hey, look, you can go out and Google them and find them and all that kind of stuff. And remember this too. I'm actually commenting on the articles. I'm not writing the articles, and I'm offering my 2 cents and opinions about them. And of course, I invite you to go into the comments and, write your 2 cents about them, whether you agree or disagree, and that's A-okay, obviously. Well, this particular article was embedded in a Twitter feed that Judy had found for me, and I'm going to actually post the link right into this video so that you can know, hey, David didn't just come out of the clear blue and make that one up. That was actually in an article. Now, hey, whether or not it all pans out, who knows for sure, but I was offering my comments on that, and as an aside, because that's what this article had pointed out, is that, they moved this thing up for banks up until June of 2023 with the ISO 222 messaging standard. So that's what's out there, and so that's what I commented on. But needless to say, guys, we got to get back to where a person's as good as their word. Look, when someone goes out and deliberately, kind of like deceives people or holds information back or thus and such, I mean, that is absolute, you can't, there's no integrity in that, right? And the thing is this, it's different than offering an opinion. Doesn't mean my opinion's right or your opinion's right or this or that. I mean, an opinion is a totally different deal than absolute deception, where you're absolutely attempting to deceive somebody. And that's the difference. But it seems like the lines have been so grayed out with all this agenda of all these woke, kind of things going on. And you don't know if it's up, down, left, right, or whatever, because the way in which they, utilize the language to confuse people. But this deal coming out of Perth, Australia with the mint, I'm telling you what, it literally, that should shake the confidence of absolutely every person out there that goes out there and is trying to, acquire some physical gold and silver. You're believing that what you've got there in your hand is what they say that it is. And now you don't even have that confidence. That is absolutely staggering. Well, guys, there's lots to get up on a soapbox this morning, that's for sure. But hey, it's hump day, middle of the week, Wednesday, and I sure hope that you're having a fantastic week. And we've got a great video planned for us later on today. And until then, guys, I hope it's that absolutely amazing one wherever you are in the world. And until then, take care.